Welcome, I'm TW. As I said before, I am not a scholar in this. This is what I understand when I read the Bible. This is my take. And if you live long enough, I'm sure you have heard a lot of interpretation of the scriptures. So this is my take on John 2:12 to 17. Jesus went down to the temple with his entourage, and he find the people were using the temple as a marketplace. That really pissed him off. That get him upset. Because the action that he take right here will tell you that he was pissed off. He made a whip and cleared them out and said, "Get these things out of here. How do you dare turn my father's house into a marketplace?" You can see that he's a little bit upset in those action right there that he's taking. Because for you to make a whip and start driving people out, then you understand there's some anger behind that. Well, I'm not saying Jesus have any anger issue or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying. But if you should get behind the scene for you to take a position like that and carry out such action, then yes, we know what triggered that action, because seeing something like this and know what the building is served for, yes, you would get upset. If you're a spiritual person and you realize that this is not the purpose for this. This is a holy place, and here you're making it into a marketplace. Now, you got to remember that this temple was the only one built for worshiping God, and seeing it like a marketplace on that day of the Passover, the biggest celebration of God and what God has done for the people. It did not sit well. It did not sit well with him. He's thinking, how could the people in charge let this happen? Let it come to this. Now, imagine you only have one church in your country. You grow up believing that this is the most sacred place on earth, the house of God. And now it's like a marketplace. People selling this, buzzing around, birds here, food here, animal there, everything you can think of is being sold in this space, the sacred space. It turns into a marketplace. That must have shocked his system. Would he react so strongly if he did not have a strong belief built within him about the Father house and the sacred place? This is like us today when we are celebrating the birth of JC these days, and the marketing machinery that's developed around Christmas, where the true meaning get lost about Christmas. I can see why the Jewish authority begin to dislike him, because they were allowing people to sell sheep, cattle, and dove, and all kind of things. And here he is driving out these cattle and sheep and letting dove away and scattering coins all over the place, overturning the table of the money changers. So this wasn't good for business for the people in charge, because probably they're getting some money out of it. Here he is scattering the coins and overturning the table of the money changer and telling them they cannot trade inside here. And they're wondering, who is this guy? The authorities said I could. And here is this person throwing my things away and telling me I can't. But did these people understand what was going on here? Did they forget the purpose of this place? And that's the point here. And just like the Christmas situation here with this marketing machinery that develop around it, and this thing, the real meaning get lost, cannot be found. It's the same situation here. Now, he must be wondering, how could the authorities allow this to happen to the house of God, to the sacred place, neglecting their duties because they're supposed to be taking care of this place. And he's starting to rock the boat. Yes, he's starting to rock the boat because he's doing all this. And they're wondering, who is this guy? He's not in charge here. And here he is telling people they cannot do this. So you see what happened here. So you see where the hatred and the animosity develop here towards Jesus, because he's coming in and he's trying to get these people to hack in the proper way. And you know how it goes when you're rocking the boat. Yeah, this is not the way to operate. The only sacred place you have, and it's a marketplace. You're conducting everyday market business inside this place on the most holy day, the day when you're supposed to be giving thanks to the Almighty who take you out of Egypt for the Passover. This is the day. And you're screwing up like this big time. So he pissed them off. And he was pissed. That's why he make that whip and start to drive people out. From the action that JC take right here, you realize that he was on business. And he was serious about the commitment that he made within himself to make sure that while he was alive, that these things weren't happening and people take this serious, because he recognized that there's a force greater than man, and that force was the force that they're supposed to be worshiping on that day. And here they are, selling things and celebrating in a different way and not paying attention to that force that helped them out, that bring them out of Egypt, that saved them, that saved our race. They neglect their duty, because this place was built for worshiping that force that we call God. And here they are, celebrating in a different way. And as I say, that will piss off anyone who is in this kind of situation, who take a sacred place seriously and don't want anyone to use it for any purpose than to worship this force, the creative force of the universe. So was he pissed? Yeah, by his action. He tell he wasn't comfortable with what they were doing. By his action, it shows that he was upset with what was going on. Listen, remember to bring some clarity and some awareness into your creative space. 10 to 12 deep breath can get you started. Blessing be with you always. Thanks for dropping by. Peace out.